Hello, I am Professor Sims, and this video is an introduction to the microbiology lab. This is a hybrid course that is broken up into 10 separate lab sessions. Each lab session has its own specific learning objectives. The objectives for this unit, though, this is becoming familiar with course expectations, resources, and information. You're going to be gaining knowledge of biosafety and COVID-19 related safety rules and disposal procedures. We'll become familiar with the facility itself, the laboratory, including the locations of safety equipment and materials that you're going to be using for executing the lab procedures. And you're also going to be assigned a lab bench and seat during this first day of classes. I do kind of want to go over the structure of the course, being that it is a hybrid course that is a little bit different. You are going to have both in-lab and at-home learning activities. Your in-lab activities are going to be synchronous, which means that they are occurring in the class during assigned times, and that you're going to be led by a face-to-face instructor. It's either going to be myself or another instructor. And this is primarily happening in the first half of the semester. So most of your in-lab activities are happening in labs 1 through 6. Throughout the semester, however, you're going to have at-home activities. And those activities are asynchronous, meaning they're not happening live, online, or anything like that. You're going to be working at your own pace to complete your assigned tasks, but you do have to turn in your work before the due dates. So you can find those due dates in the course calendar, which is located in the course syllabus. Students will engage in self-directed learning, but you are encouraged to ask questions. You can ask questions during the in-lab sessions. You can also ask questions via the Moodle discussion forum, my email. I also have the Zoom office hours. And you can even leave comments on the YouTube videos. The instructor, myself, or if you have another instructor, we communicate with students via email and announcements. And your learning is going to be assessed with online learning assignments, quizzes, and exams. The overall learning objectives for completing this course include becoming competent in bright field microscopy, microbe cultivation, learning the biochemical properties and microbial control methods, identifying unknown specimen. This lab is essentially a long-form supplemental instruction for the micro lecture course. In the lab, students have the opportunity to participate in authentic hands-on experiments. Such experiments include staining, culturing, isolating bacteria and other microbes, performing identification testing on microorganisms. Microbiology is a challenging field of science, and therefore this is going to be a challenging course. It focuses on comprehension, not just memorization. So you're going to be challenged to do your own literary research. You're going to be challenged to draw your own conclusions and interpret data, and you're going to have to learn how to effectively communicate scientific information, which can be challenging as well. Your learning is going to be self-directed because you're not only going to be learning about microbiology, but you're going to be learning a little bit about your own learning style as well. I encourage students to study smarter, not harder, by which I mean you want to get more out of your study time and you want to learn more in less time. So what I see a lot with my students over the years, I've seen them using these techniques here on the right for studying, things like rereading, rewriting, going over old quizzes, going over old class notes. And that's fine, except it's very, very time consuming, and at a certain point your brain kind of burns out, especially if you're doing so much rereading and rewriting and rewatching that you're losing out on sleep time, because your brain needs sleep in order to form new neural connections and memories. So I would like to encourage students to kind of shift away from these methods here on the right and shift towards these ones on the left, which have been scientifically proven to not only take less time to do, but they're more effective as far as long-term memories and comprehension of material is concerned. So you are going to do some rereading and rewriting, but what you really want to do is fill in the gaps of your knowledge. You need to kind of take inventory of what you do and don't don't understand, and spend your time focusing on the things that you need more help with. So you're going to write things in your own words. You want to test yourself, like write little mini quizzes and tests for yourself and answer them. And you want to try to interleave things. So you want to try to relate the new things that you're learning to things that you've already learned. And you also want to vary your studying in such a way that you're not spending huge blocks of time doing one activity or studying one concept. So you don't want to spend, 4 hours at a time just reading the textbook because, about 20 minutes into that, your brain kind of shuts off. You want to take breaks. You want to alternate between reading activities and writing activities and maybe other types of activities like watching a video or a simulation, or maybe if you're good at drawing and you're a visual learner, maybe you want to make a diagram or a figure or something like that. Anyway, you want to switch it up and make sure that you're studying smarter. Here are some resources and information that you'll need, and these are going to be provided in much more detail on the Moodle site and also in the syllabus. The textbook for this class is a free online OpenStax book published in 2016. Here you can see the link where you can go and download it in its entirety. From the table of contents in this book, you can click on any of the chapter titles. They're all hyperlinks. So if you you scroll to the table of contents, click on chapter 9. It will take you directly to the start of chapter 9. And that way you don't have to scroll 900 pages to get to chapter 9, right? The lab course also requires the lab manual, which is listed here, and this is what it looks like. This is also available on the Moodle site and for download. And there's also a free supplemental text, which looks like this here, that accompanies the lab manual. It's called a photographic atlas of microbiology. It's very useful if you're, like me, a really visual learner, because it's got lots of wonderful images and illustrations in it. And it is also available for a free download. All 3 of these texts are going to be posted in PDF format in the course materials module on the Moodle site, so you don't have to spend any money for these books. Please consult the syllabus and course Moodle site for course information, and do this regularly because things are always being added and updated. You're going to have very important things are going to be your news forum, which is on the first page, the course materials page. Your syllabus, course calendar, all of those are on the course material page. Guidelines and grading rubrics for the lab reports and your semester project reports. There's going to be some other writing resources in there having to do with formatting in APA format, how to cite references, things like that. Those are going to be very important for this class. Also on the Moodle site are all of the PowerPoint slides that accompany these videos, and your links for all of your quizzes, assignments, exams. All of your exam and project stuff is going to be posted on Moodle. They have their own modules. So it's not just the assignment link, but also other information to go with those. The videos are going to be posted on my YouTube channel, and they're at this link here. It's just www.youtube.com/c/Professor Sims. Please remember that these videos are designed to supplement and not substitute for your reading assignments. So that means you need to do the reading. And all of your reading is going to be at the end of these videos. It's also on the course calendar and the syllabus. The Moodle module for each lab includes a quiz. See the quiz links for due dates. Moodle is going to have, again, all of the information that you need regarding the quizzes, assignments, exams, everything. And all of the policies for grading, late assignments, missed exams, etc. can be found in the course syllabus, so please be sure to read through the syllabus. I have listed here office hours these are my traditional office hours. As of right now, I'm only doing office hours online, which may or may not change later in the semester. I'll be sure to let y'all know. But as of right now, we're doing office hours via Zoom conferencing. Also, you can ask questions by email or in the news forum on Moodle. Be sure to read and study all materials provided like your textbook procedures, your videos. Go through all of that stuff and take the quiz prior to performing lab procedures for any of your lab sessions. The quizzes are designed to make sure that you're ready to do the procedures. That is, do you understand why the experiments are being done? Do you understand what info they are meant to convey, how the procedures work, all of that kinds of stuff? It makes sure that you're actually getting the enhanced learning from doing the procedures rather than kind of learning as you go, because you're just not going to get as much from that experience as if you were prepared beforehand. Okay. If you can, you're going to want to print your procedures and the report templates beforehand so that you can keep them handy when you're performing your lab procedures. If you can't print them, that's okay. I recommend making detailed notes beforehand, though. Having said that, not all of your lab procedures are going to be performed in a wet lab, environment. Some of them, in fact, fully half of the procedures are actually going to be simulations that you do virtually online. But you should take note of all of the procedural steps for those simulations as well. Record all of your results, all of your experimental data, especially results that are needed to complete the lab report templates. You do have templates for the lab reports, so if you look ahead to the results sections on those templates, you'll see exactly what you will need to report on ahead of time, which is helpful. And you want to utilize the expertise of your instructor and even your peers. You can ask questions on the discussion forum. You can use email to contact your instructors, attend Zoom office hours. You can even just post questions on the YouTube video, like the comment sections there. So, maybe there will be other people that will see your questions before I get to them or before Dr. Bhattacharya gets to them. Utilize all of those sources to ask questions. So let's talk about safety. The on-site micro lab is a BSL-2 lab where we work with pathogens, but it's been retooled such that it's a BSL-1 lab. So BSL means biosafety level. Biosafety level 1 is the lowest level of biosafety, level that applies to agents that do not ordinarily cause human disease. However, please keep in mind that all specimen that you will handle, culture, or work with should always be considered a potential pathogen. So you want to be careful. Even though it's a BSL-1 lab, you still want to treat it as if you're working with pathogens. Also, some of the reagents are harmful, such as the staining dyes that you're going to be using. These are classified as potential carcinogens. Carcinogen, of course, being a cancer-causing agent, so you're going to want to be very careful with those. When performing your lab procedures, be sure to follow all safety rules. The safety rules are going to be posted in the course materials module on Moodle and also included within your lab procedures. Students must complete a mandatory safety quiz before executing any of the lab procedures. This is going to be in the Introduction to Micro Lab module on Moodle, and it is due during the first week of class. You are responsible for obtaining a lab coat and safety glasses. Safety glasses have to have side guards, and they have to be made of unbreakable plastic. You do not have to spend a lot of money on these. Some of these safety glasses here, you can find them at Home Depot for $2-3. Your lab coats have to have long sleeves, and they have to cover your whole torso. They don't have to go down to your knees. They can stop at the waist if you want. If you want the shorter one, that's fine. But they do have to close, and they have to close using either buttons or snaps. Hooks are even okay, but no zippers. You have to have your lab coat on and closed before you come into the lab. And you also want to make sure that you're wearing long pants that cover your whole leg, closed-toed shoes that are covering your whole foot, no open toes, no open heels, no high heels. You don't want to have jewelry that's hanging off of you. You want to cut your fingernails if they're super long. And if your hair is long, then you need to tie it back or put it up. If you have any cuts, especially on your hands, let me know before we start any experiments because I can get you a bandage to cover them up. Obviously, you're not bringing any food or drinks. You're not smoking in the lab. I'll show you where to put your book bags and purses and things. And I will also show you how to disinfect, proper way to wash your hands. Wash your hands, wash your hands, don't forget to wash your Okay, so thank you guys for watching. As always, don't forget to do the reading. Check the description below this video for more videos related to these topics. And of course, you can leave questions for me here in the comment section. And I'll see you for the next one.